What's up, Scyushi Squad? We are back again some more Trove. But before we end up hopping into the game, we're going to end up watching the Trove Sunrise official trailer. So this is going to end up being the new update, which I'll end up going over the details of what this update includes very, very briefly, because today's video is more so an announcement. So I haven't actually watched this trailer, but a bunch of people have been telling me that the Sunrise update is scheduled to release next week. Now, as far as I know, it's only going to end up being the PC release. Unless this trailer happens to show console release, I don't know. But let's get into it. I thought we would react to it. I thought it could end up being quite fun. Why is it so low quality? It says it's HD, but it's not. Let's make sure that it actually is. There we go. That's a little bit better. Don't you wish Trove had music like this? So this trailer will probably end up summarizing the new update anyway. So we got a new class. I don't know if I've seen that costume. That might be the max level costume for him because I didn't get that. And then that's going to end up being the new biome, of course. Oh, they're actually showing it. Awesome. So there's an underground area of sorts and then a surface area. I wish I had access to the dev tools that give you like free cameras command, because I would love that for making like tutorials and stuff for you guys, dude. Seriously. But anyways, the biome's going to end up being split into two areas. So the bottom area has its own dungeons, and the top area has its own dungeons. Maybe we won't have to hop in game. It looks like they're already covering everything. The biome, as we've already covered in other videos, is pretty atrocious because... Oh, that's all they talk about. Okay. PC June 28, coming soon on console. We don't know a release date for the console release. Gee, that sucks. Sorry, console players. Boy. All right, let's hop in game. So, of course, there was a couple other things that they forgot to mention in that trailer. Namely, we've got each elemental world and prime world is going to end up having U10 difficulty now, but there's also going to end up being a U11 difficulty. We've got 5-star dungeons on the geode surface. We've got 5-star dungeons in U11 prime worlds, or maybe U10. Yeah, U10 prime worlds and U11. As far as I know, it's done in the elemental worlds, but there is also going to end up being a new mechanic to the 5-star dungeons that are in the prime worlds, which is, as far as I know, the 5-star dungeon is literally just tied to the new biome. I don't think there's 5-star dungeons for any of the other biomes, unfortunately. But it will allow you to get Crystal 4 gear just from, you know, from whether you're doing 5 stars in geode surface or whether you're doing them here in the Sundered Uplands. But the 5-star dungeon, we ended up tackling that in the last live stream, and it was actually really interesting because we essentially have a new infinite 5-star dungeon. The way that it works is you end up completing all the objectives in the dungeon, and then you have a boss to defeat, and so long as you stay ahead of the timer, you can actually just keep repeating the same 5-star dungeon and getting more and more loot over and over again. So you'll already notice with my power rank that power rank has had a substantial increase, most of all because we've got crystal gems now, so that's going to end up being the next huge thing that's added to the game. Crystal gems are going to be obtained in U11 specifically, so you can end up obtaining crystal gems in any of the Uber worlds because each of the Uber worlds does go up to U11. So if I go into a fire Uber world at fire elemental world, sorry, at U11, it means that dungeons will end up dropping a new type of gem box that will drop stellar gems commonly and crystal gems uncommon, right? Now, another thing too that I wanted to mention to you guys very briefly, they've been changing the update, or they've been patching the test server over and over and over again, and I didn't really feel that it was responsible enough of me to end up making like quick little videos talking about like, oh, this is coming, this is coming, this is coming, you know, because they're constantly changing it. However, it seems like with that the update coming out next week, it means that hopefully everything is finalized. And one thing that's really, really nice that they finalized is you'll notice that the gems are actually so much cheaper to upgrade. It's actually unreal. So we've talked about this in other videos, but the prism item for your gems is normally you ended up costing a lot of these to upgrade your gems, but they significantly ended up nerfing that. Thank you, devs, seriously. The other thing is the gem sparks. So when you end up loot collecting a crystal gem now, it'll end up turning into a gem spark of that specific element, which is then required to level up your gems past 25. So you can end up upgrading your gems from stellar into crystal, but it has to be a fully leveled stellar gem before you can convert it. Anyways, we've talked about all that stuff in other videos, but today I wanted to just kind of highlight the big changes that are coming with this update and why you should be excited about it. Now, fingers crossed for those of you guys on console. Fingers crossed you guys are going to end up getting the update within 2 weeks. Okay, and the reason why I'm suspect of that is because the devs haven't necessarily confirmed a release date for the console update. However, what they did confirm for you guys, and I can let you know, you guys sitting here on console, you're frustrated that you haven't even gotten the Shadowhunter rework update, which essentially ends up reworking all of the classes, not just the Shadowhunter. But the devs did confirm that you guys on console, when the Crystal update goes live, or the Sunrise update, sorry, goes live, you're going to end up getting the Sunrise update, which covers the new content that we just mentioned, the Bomber Royale Season 3 update, and the Shadowhunter rework update all in one big patch. So it's not like this update is going to end up getting delayed. The devs mentioned that this was their plan all along, which I can totally see that this was their plan, because I speculated, well, maybe you guys aren't getting the Shadowhunter update because the new update that they're working on is very, very complicated, and it would be easier to convert it all into one big patch for you guys on console. And it turns out that that's the case, because what was the point in reworking all of the classes except for the fact that we've now got U11? Anyways, that's gonna do it for me, gamers. Really appreciate you watching and hope that you enjoyed today's video. I'm sorry that this video is so late in the day. I felt really, really nauseous earlier. I'm starting to feel a little bit better now, but I'm kind of taking it easy, and generally speaking, I've got a lot of editing to catch up on. So I'm gonna try and rush out the 36K series over the next couple days. The reason why I'm saying this is because obviously with this update coming out, 36K power rank kind of becomes irrelevant because there's a new cap. That said, I still feel that those videos are going to end up being very relevant for you guys to end up determining whether or not, oh, this is a class that's powerful enough that I want to end up maining, etc., etc. And frankly speaking, it's going to end up taking me and a lot of other players quite a while to get over 44 KPR, if even 44 KPR, in the new update. Like, I think it's going to be a lot of fun, but it's going to be a very slow process. So once, of course, I end up getting max PR, you know, a max physical set and a max magic set, then we can end up having videos later in the year that will more than likely be like, here's every class at 45 KPR, right? The other thing too I want to mention to you guys lastly is that taking gems off of your character is no longer going to cost regeminators. So just be very, very cautious of that. You don't want to swap your gems now before this update's here, especially you guys on console, because we don't know when the update's hitting for you. As far as I've also heard, we will potentially end up getting a second stat reroll event next week. I could be wrong about that, but it kind of all makes sense now that this update, you know, with the Splendid Summer event is going to end just as the new update ends up coming out. But anyways, I'm rambling now. Thanks for watching. Smash like, sub for more. Buy the merch you want to support the channel. This video was intended to be a lot shorter, but I didn't realize we had so many things to cover.